when I moved out here, I was like, well, I really want to like play I want to play in a band where like I really love the music, and I had been like getting like super into like a Wilhelm scream and No Trigger and Strike Anywhere and stuff like that. And I was
That's
like, and
evident.
Propagandhi as
Okay.
well. Like I fucking love Propagandhi. Chris Hound is like my hero. And like I really wanted to do something that was influenced by that, but also like at the same time influenced by my like street punk roots.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review Podcast. I've got a very new homie. Like, this is Kevin from a band called what's the Static Friction, right? Am I tripping?
Yep.
Okay,
Static Friction,
man,
yeah.
my brain didn't fail me this time. So, okay, for anybody's wondering, typically I would know the band fairly well before I talk to them on the show, but this kind of happened in an interesting way. Did you guys send me an email or something, or did I find you guys? I can't remember.
Yeah, we hit you up on
Instagram.
Instagram.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. And I was like, dude, I try to stay grounded. I try to not stay in business mode all the time, and I try to remember like some of my job is to just help people get exposure, whatever that means. If it means 30 people see it or 3,000, it doesn't matter. It's all the same to me personally. And so I was on the live stream, and I was like, you know what, dude, that guy was super nice. I'm gonna play their song and see what it sounds like. And it kind of fucked me up, dude. Like I was like, whoa, what in the world?
Fucked you up,
bro, in a good way. I was like, what is happening? And so I listened to because it's 2 tracks that you have on, is it Spotify or Bandcamp? I don't know. 2 tracks that I saw available.
Yeah.
And I listened to the first one, and it was really, really good. And then my audience really responded well to it. So like a half hour, 45 minutes later, we played the second one, and it was even better. Like very good production. So
thanks,
yeah,
man.
tell us about yourself, man. It's kind of a hardcore band, or is it what would you call it?
That's a good question. I guess like when I initially set out to start this band, the intention was to be kind of a melodic hardcore type of sound. Some of the other guys in the band would disagree with me, so we just kind of settled on calling ourselves melodic punk. But it definitely has an edginess to it that kind of traditional melodic punk bands don't have.
Right.
So and it's a bit more technical than I think a lot of those,
Bro.
So
it's so good. I really like it.
That. And also, as far as the production, it's funny you should say that. We're a totally DIY band. The record is DIY. We recorded it in our rehearsal studio.
Nice.
I mixed and produced it myself. So everything we do is just us, and we just like try to go online and learn shit about techniques and learn how to, I don't have any training in that shit. I just figured it out,
That's kind of what I find. Everybody that is actually really good at stuff, that's how they became really good at it. I don't know a single person that I personally hang out with or whatever that when I say, man, how'd you get so good at whatever that is? They go, oh, I went to school for it. I don't know anybody that I mean, and I'm sure there's plenty, but like I don't talk to them a lot. And so I think there's something to be said for like having the desire and passion for some subject and then going and just diving in.
Totally.
I do that with my channel. I didn't know how to even turn a computer on when I started this channel. And it's not like I've had it for 20 years. I've only been doing it for a few years, but
right.
All my editing, all my editing improvements, I'll ask my buddy Josh, hey, you got any recommendations? And he'll send me a link to like a video and go, hey, you should watch this. And then I'll watch it. And he's like, just try it a bunch of times. He's like, you're going to get really irritated, but just keep going. Yeah, and so I'll try it. And I'll just, you can see incremental improvements. And I'm sure that the start of your music was probably a lot different than it sounds right now.
It was rough as hell at first. I mean, that's when everyone starts anything, any skill, you suck at it at first. And you have to like, suck until you get good. It's like learning how to play an instrument or like anything,
So you said vocals, lead guitar, and you do all like the predominant songwriting?
Yeah, for the most part.
Good, I guess God.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of how it shook out,
Sure.
So we're a Boston band. But I'm actually a SoCal transplant,
Okay.
and I moved here like 5 years ago, and there was like a brief period where my wife and I actually moved back, and then we moved back again,
Okay.
incidentally. And
That's a lot of
you know,
moving.
yeah, no shit. We drove we drove all 3
Good
times.
grief.
Yeah, it was rough. But anyway, like I've been playing in punk bands since I was a kid, and when I moved out here, I was like, well, I really want to like play I want to play in a band where like I really love the music, and I had been like getting like super into like a Wilhelm scream and No Trigger and Strike Anywhere and stuff like that. And I was
That's
like, and
evident.
Propagandhi as
Okay.
well. Like I fucking love Propagandhi. Chris Hound is like my hero. Um, and like I really wanted to do something that was influenced by that, but also like at the same time influenced by my like street punk roots. Like I have
Sure.
when I was a teenager, I was in a street punk band, and I don't mean to digress so much, but
No.
all of that kind of like feeds into what it eventually became our sound. So like if I were to characterize it any specific way, I might say we have like maybe 15% of like a street punk type of thing going on, and like 85% of like melodic hardcore. At least for my part, when I write, it's kind of that's kind of the mesh that you end up with.
So since I heard the first few bars of your first song that I heard, it reminded me of something. And literally, I started writing just a second ago, is because I didn't want to forget that that's what I thought of. Your band reminds me, not like a carbon copy of, but when I heard it, I thought, oh man, these guys could tour with. You ever heard that band Bigwig?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Bro, I
dude.
was like, that's what it reminded, but like a little
Yeah,
heavier, maybe.
but the shreddy guitars and
Yeah,
yep,
I appreciate y'all's vocals a little bit more, but that direction, I was like, damn, this is like if Bigwig just got a little heavier and a little bit, maybe a little meaner,
yeah, yeah,
it
or
would
like
sound
Lawrence
like that.
Arms or something.
Fuck, I love the Lawrence Arms, dude. Oh my god, I was just listening to Slapstick too.
Yeah,
I yeah, Lawrence Arms. That's my shit. I love that band.
yeah,
That's my predominant, like, I lean towards more of a probably more of a 77 style punk rock is what I listen to most of the
yeah,
time, but I wear like teenage bottle rock. And I love pop punk too, like Ramones core type pop punk.
right.
But I also love all that melodic. I mean, I'm a 90s kid, so anything that falls anywhere near a sound that might have been popular in the 90s in the punk rock world, I'm
Yep.
probably going to be a fan of it. That's exactly what I grew up on. But I just wasn't expecting that sound to be so big, man. Like, so you recorded it all like yourself, or like as a unit, or how'd that work?
Yeah, so our other guitarist is like a part of this kind of music production collective, and he and a group of friends that are also musicians just kind of pooled resources and put a bunch of money and gear into a pool, a collective, and like the agreement is just like, hey, if you need it, you can use some of this gear, and you can use it on a project, and that's just you don't have to pay for it necessarily. It's just
That's
there.
awesome.
So like we borrowed some of this gear, like some of the preamps and a bunch of mics, especially for the drum tracking,
Right.
because you need a
Yeah.
lot of fucking mics for that.
Yeah, you do.
And but we tracked all that, and we tracked the drums like in our kind of dingy rehearsal studio, and then we just took everything over to my house and recorded the rest here, like guitars, bass, or we recorded one guitar was like a DI, and the other guitar was an amp, and then the bass is also DI. So we did all that shit here, and we did the vocals here, and we just have like really basic gear, aside from we had some pretty nice preamps that we tracked the drums with, but aside from that, this is like pretty basic shit. Like anyone who says like, oh, you need $10,000 or $20,000 worth of gear to make a good record is full of shit. You just don't
Yeah,
need it.
even I know that's not right,
Yeah,
and I haven't played in a band in 15 years.
yeah, it's just not necessary. Like
Yeah,
you just know,
that's
like
awesome.
if you just learn some like modern production tricks, you can like make a like even using really basic gear, like $500, $1,000 worth of gear, you can make it sound fucking awesome. You just have to get creative.
We got to get creative. You have to have, have a little knowledge on the subject, but like people don't understand if you want to do something like musically or even like with a YouTube channel. I tell people all the time, and I get asked that a lot. Like, how do you do that? I'm like, you just do it, bro. I don't really know how to tell you. Like, I didn't start with this camera. I didn't start with this microphone. This is all stuff that I've bought in the microphone last few months, but the camera I've only had it maybe a couple of years.
Right.
Not even that long. You just start the phone, bro. Like you just go and do it. If you're starting with music, you go get an acoustic guitar, write your skeletons and get some people to like those sounds and start a band. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not hard either. If there's a will, there's a way. That stupid saying makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's, so, okay. What's up with the name, Static Friction? Where did that come from? Is there a particular meaning behind it? Is it just a name y'all came up with?
So names are hard, man.
Yes.
Names are probably even harder than like writing good music.
Oh,
like
100%.
Because all the obviously good names are taken. So
typically
you go through like dictionaries and thesauruses and God knows what else, and you try to come up with something that works. And so basically that's what we did, and everyone jotted down like as many ideas as we could think of, and in the end we ended up with like maybe like 4 or 5 different options that were pretty good. And then one day, like, I guess Derek was just like doing some research, and he came across static friction, which is static friction is a concept from physics, and it's about basically when you have 2 surfaces that are touching, static friction is the tendency for them to not want to come apart. It's that kind of resistance to movement.
Okay. Yeah, because nothing's truly flat.
Yeah. So, and everything is, imperfect. And I mean, so there's a little bit of tension there, and that's what static friction is.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Derek brought that to the group, and we're like, that's pretty fucking cool. Like it's short, it sounds good, it's easy to remember. And then like we came up with the TV logo, and we're like, oh, dude, like that works.
Hell
so
yeah.
The TV logo just it fits the name,
Right.
So
dude, that kind of stuff's cool when it happens naturally like that. Like when I was younger, I was in this band, and we recorded like a 9-song, I guess it was like an EP. They were all short songs, so like the total length of the thing was like not even 20 minutes, I don't think. And we were having the worst time coming up with like a title for it. And I was like, man, we might just want to call it like our band name. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, man, I just don't really feel like that works, man. And so we all kind of were doing similar things, coming up with names, looking through stuff, reading books, reading comics, looking at signs outside. And I just said something about, man, we were talking about something unrelated. And I said, yeah, I tend to hope for the best, prepare for the worst. My friend was like, yeah, it's kind of how your songs sound. And I was like, that's probably what we should call the EP. And then we were all like, man, that's a little bit long. The next day, we're hanging out at a restaurant. I swear on everything that just happened. We're eating dinner at a Chinese restaurant. I feel like you probably know where this is going. They slide us the fortune cookies. I swear on everything that I cracked mine open, and it said a wise man will hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And
That's
I just
awesome.
slid it across the table, and I was like, are you fucking serious right now?
Yeah.
And my guys were like, well, I guess that's the name of it. Somewhere
right?
somewhere in the state of Texas, there's a little handful of these little tapes floating around with that on the top of it, and our logo and shit. And they're, I think, fluorescent green and fluorescent pink. So
nice.
yeah, I'm gonna put it out on vinyl at some point because I have a label, but it's not a priority, so I'm not really too concerned about it. I'd have to get like remastered and shit. So
that's cool, man. I love it when things like just come together organically like that.
Right.
And then in your case, you got like some kind of a
it was
sign.
weird, bro. Well, shit, dude. I mean, in all fairness, man, like this conversation came about pretty organically. We just happened to randomly meet. I really liked your music. I don't have any kind of like agenda with my channel outside of just grow it and keep promoting music. Like I don't know. I mean, it literally could be you guys or Rancid, and I would be just as ready to work. Whatever. Like let's talk music. Let's promote this album. Let's do whatever, man. I just really enjoy it. Right. And it's been something that's helped me my whole life. So
I gotta tell you, man. Like for my part, like I came after and watched some of your videos, and like I was saying earlier, like I came up like on that 95 to 2005 street punk wave, and you had a couple of videos about that, and I was watching those, and I was watching the one about your story about going to Vegas and
Dude,
You know,
that shit was wild.
yeah, and I was like, you know, I just have to say, like, I really appreciate what you're doing,
Well,
like,
thank you.
because it's really important that people like are punk rock has a lot of gatekeepers, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. And you have people out there who like scene block, like, oh, you're not cool enough, and you're not, you know, whatever. You're doing the opposite of that. You're like listening to whatever comes your way and supporting it and embracing it and sharing it with your audience. And if people like you weren't doing that, then bands like mine would never get heard. And like,
Well, fuck, man.
I just
That's
appreciate that.
bam, hits me right there, bro. Thank you, man. It's funny because I get called a gatekeeper sometimes, and I do act like that sometimes because I do think to a certain degree that protecting what you love is necessary. But I just live by one rule pretty much all the time, and it's like, dude, just chill, bro. Like, just like it's not that important. And
Yeah.
I like people. I got told the other day, like some guys, like, man, you are pretty cool for like supporting Green Day. I know you don't really like that band, and I was like, well, I mean, they're an important band. What I think about them doesn't really matter much. They still
Right.
make objectively good music, whether I like it or not. It's irrelevant, man. And
Yeah.
if they're doing something cool, I want to check it out. And I'm not going to act as if it doesn't bring people to the channel. It's all a mixture of just, can you just be an adult? Like it's tough, man. I appreciate the kind words, man. I really do. I got some goals. I don't want to sound crazy, but I got some goals, and I think they're gonna come to fruition in the next 6 to 8, 12 months. And
Good for you, man.
it's pretty exciting, man. I got a label, and I got a little record store, and I got this channel, and I'm trying to make that what provides my family. And
Hell
if that
yeah.
happens, it'll make if that's happening, that means the channel's getting pretty big. And if the channel's getting pretty big, then I can just keep talking to people like you, and maybe somehow, some way I can help other people. And that's my main goal, is to make it just like just a thing that has like a perpetual motion.
Yeah,
And
so
just
self-sufficient and
yeah, like I help the band comes on the show, the band gets a little bit of promo, they remember me, now we're friends. Now if they get a little bigger, they come back and help me out again.
yeah,
And then I do that with another smaller band. Boom,
right.
boom, 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 boom.
You like build up this ecosystem of
Right. Yeah, you understand that
credibility.
very well. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like
mutually earned trust and respect.
right. And I've made a lot of friends in the last like 18 months that truthfully, it's kind of crazy, man. Like I've talked to the dude from Pennywise, dude from the Queers, dude from the Dwarves, and these are bands that I love, dude. So it's
Yeah,
like
right.
it's kind of overwhelming at times, but I feel so happy that they gave a shit, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you for a little while." And they were like, every one of them was like, "Yeah, hit me up anytime, man." I'm like, "Fuck, that's crazy to me."
That
Like,
is crazy.
it's awesome, dude. And so yeah, I flew to Vegas on dude, I was there for like 14 hours, bro. It was wild. And then I like
Yeah.
had this like fucking weird meltdown. It was awful, dude. But man, so goes it, man. On to another day, right?
Yeah, for sure. You were talking a bit about like, well, I don't mean to keep harping on this subject, but like street punk.
Yeah, floor is yours, man. Talk about whatever you want.
It's, I was looking at your record label on Bandcamp, and I saw that that you guys put out the Havoc's new record. And
That's the homies right there.
it's a funny coincidence because when I was a kid, I was in a band that we used to play with the Havoc all the time.
What?
And like, so it was like my band and the Havoc and Cheap Sex would play together.
Dude, Cheap Sex is awesome too.
And like after my band at that time broke up, our guitarist went on and is now the second guitarist in Cheap Sex. There's Johnny O and Phil. Phil plays guitar in Cheap Sex to this day, and like it's just interesting how like things kind of come full circle like that.
Yeah, dude, that is weird, isn't it? You know how that dude, the way that happened is so strange. So because like I only did their cassette, like their LP they did, but I'm also doing Justin from the Havoc's new band. Literally, literally, like right now, it's in production. I'm waiting on it to ship to me. I'll have the tapes in like a couple of weeks, and I do mostly
like a hardcore band, right?
Yeah, called Cake Eater.
Cake Eater, that's right.
Dude, they're fucking great too, man.
Yeah, cool.
That band would sound good on on a bill with your band, like straight up. That's not like a match, but they fit really well.
For sure.
So I do like a review, and I think I hit up. I think I did one of their songs on a stream or something, and they had a new album out, and I talked about it. Maybe I did it on like a top 10 list or something, but I talked about their new record, and I was like, man, this band's awesome. I remember them from back in the day. And then I get into contact with Justin, and I just wanted to do the podcast. So we come on, we talk for whatever, and turns out he screen prints. I'm like an amateur screen printer, so I'm asking him questions about stuff.
Dead and buried, yeah.
Yeah, and so we talk about that. Well, then we become like friendly immediately because we have a lot in common. We both do label stuff. We both do screen printing. We're both into punk rock.
Yeah.
And so I tell him about my label just kind of casually, and then like a couple of weeks later, he calls me out of the blue, and he's like, "It says Justin Havoc," and I'm like, "What's up, dude? Like, are you okay? What's up? Everything all right?" He's like, "Hey, man, I got a weird question." And I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "You want to do our tape?" And I literally laughed. I was like, "What, for real?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that shit right now. I got the money right now." He was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it right now. Send me the artwork. I'll do the layout." And I just did it, bro. And like those are the homies now, man. Like it's a small world. And now like I'm working with a band that's got members of Cliff 45, the Templars, and Madsen. So
cool.
We'll see how that goes. I need to
Cliff
text
45,
Dave here.
huh?
Yeah.
Man, that was like one of the first street punk bands I got into back in the day.
Dude,
that Tales from the Clit LP.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Dave, the singer, is like doing some stuff with a new band, and it's like I can't say too much about it, but I'll just say that I've heard it all, and I've heard the mixed, mastered, ready to go like songs. Fuck, dude.
Cool.
It's so good. It's not what you think though. Like people are gonna be like, "Oh, is it like some?" No, not even a little bit, bro. It is fucking awesome music though. I cannot wait to put it out. Or that's what we're supposed to be doing. We'll see. I gotta talk to him today. But yeah, man. So okay, how did y'all start playing together? Because you moved, you said, to Boston, right?
Yep.
So did you just like meet these dudes at shows or what?
So I wish, man. Basically, like I got here and we just kind of settled in for a while, but I had been sitting on these songs that I was working on while I was kind of temporarily back in California for a while. And I was playing with, funny enough, when I was in California, I was jamming with Brock, the bassist from Cheap Sex, and we were trying to start something, and we were jamming pretty regularly. But then when I moved back here, obviously that fell apart.
Right.
But those were like the early kind of versions of what we're doing now. That was like the first kind of, I don't know, instantiation, for lack of a better word, of the music.
Damn, dude, word of the day, folks. Instantiation. What the fuck does that mean?
It's an instance of something.
Okay, heard. I got it. Bro, I was like, I'm not smart enough to talk to this guy.
I appreciate that. So anyway, so I moved back to Boston, and I moved out here for work. And I mean, my wife and I don't know anybody here. We're just like, it's just us.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. That's daunting.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I've been playing in bands forever. And like, maybe if I try to start something, I could like actually meet some people. And I just like, I have to play in a band,
right?
Or I like start to lose my shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go stir crazy real quick.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's like a release for me. Like I have to do it, or I start getting really like, I get anxiety and I get like kind of bipolar, and like, I have to play music. I just have to.
Everybody has their therapy, man.
Yeah. So I was getting that stir crazy, cabin fever type thing. And I just wanted to fucking meet people. Like I'd been used to playing with other punk rock musicians my whole life, and I just needed to keep doing it. So I put out a couple ads on Craigslist and jammed with a couple dudes, and that was all right. But like that, I was jamming with some people, and then that fell apart. And then I started looking at other people's ads, and I saw this drummer who was like, hey, I want to like start like a melodic kind of punk band, vis-a-vis, Strike Anywhere, or, whatever, or Born to Lose.
Oh, God damn it, Vince. Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's like one of our drummer's favorite bands as well.
Really?
Yeah. And I knew that you were talking about that. He fucking loves that band.
I'm very good friends with the singer now, dude. That's boy, awesome. Dude. That's the other thing that's fucking weird that happened to me.
They're a great band.
Yeah, dude.
But so anyway, he put those influences up, and I was like, cool, like, let's go meet up. So he and I met up at a bar, and just, I mean, this is, I'm sober now, but I was drinking back then. And
sure.
He and I met up, and we were having some beers. Like I found that you want to like meet people in person and like have a drink with them or whatever, just meet with them and sit down face to face and make sure they're not a fucking psycho.
Right.
Because I've met some people from Craigslist, like sight unseen and jammed with them, and it was fucking weird, dude. And like my wife is there, like just moral support, and some dude's like he just busts out like an 8-ball of coke, and I'm like, no, I think I'm good,
Dude, that shit, like, I'm not even like opposed to do whatever you want at your life, but like, I'm 11 years off dope, and if somebody did that in front of me, man, I don't know what I would do. I might just freeze, bro. I'd be like,
that's kind of what I did. It's a weird first impression, and
bro.
and I'm like, I'm good. So
I'd be like, can you
anyway,
at least have the decency to do that in the fucking bathroom, bro? You got that shit right in front of me.
right,
Golly,
exactly.
man. Party like a pro, please, man. Go in there and do whatever you got to do. But
Right.
shit, man.
So there was a lot of that. There was some
That's
dude,
weird,
like,
man.
yeah, there was some dude, like it was like a foot thing, and like I don't even want to talk about that. So anyway,
He's
so
like, can you play barefoot for me?
it was some dude with like a weird foot thing, and anyway,
That's awesome.
so we met up, and it was cool, and so we're like, yeah, let's go jam. So we did a couple weeks later, and it was great. So we're like, cool, like it's really fucking hard to find a good drummer, man. It's like the hardest person in the band to find. And so I was pretty stoked. And then Tommy is our drummer's name. He knew Derek already, the other guitarist. Derek has been in quite a few Boston bands.
Word.
Some of which have toured quite a bit. Like you may have heard of OC45 at some point.
I've heard
maybe
the name,
not.
I think.
They never got like super huge, but they toured a lot. But anyway, he played in that band and some others, and Tommy knew him. They had tried to start something, I guess, like a year prior, and it just didn't work out. So Derek shows up, and we all just clicked, and we're like, sweet. That was just, it was almost too easy with us three. And then we hit a snag when we were trying to find a bass player, and we were searching for a bass player for maybe like 2 or 3 months. And Derek ran into our now bass player, Nick, at a show or at a party. And he told him about the project, and Nick was like super, into the idea. So he showed up, and he just like fucking ripped. And I was like, yeah, you're in. Like within awesome. Like, like just when you're jamming with someone and they're really fucking good, and you're just like, yes, like you fit like what we're looking for exactly,
At the risking sounding incredibly weird, how awesome is it as a grown man? See, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 42, right? 38. And so 38, so we're close in age. How fucking awesome is it to meet like a couple of new like dudes that you're gonna play music with, you're gonna hang out with all the time, and then like you get excited to go hang out with them. You're like, dude, I can't wait to go hang out with so and so. And then like your wife's like, y'all are silly, and you're like, yeah, kind of, but it's fucking rad. Like a new, like that's how I get talking to people on the show when I make an actual new connection and it's somebody I'm going to talk to indefinitely. Right. I get all stoked about it, like when I became friends with Chris Klink or whatever, right? So or Justin from the Havoc. It's just like men need that. Like it's okay to be an introvert and to be shut out. I get that. My wife's very much an introvert. She literally has to go introvert pretty regularly. Nothing wrong with that at all. Like if that's how your personality is, like you need to embrace that. But we're humans. We're naturally kind of social beings.
Right.
And there's nothing better than a good social interaction. It makes you feel good.
Totally.
Like when you go out and you have fun. Imagine like when you were young and you went out and you met your wife, or like when I met my wife, when we first started going on like dates and hanging out, I felt like a fucking superhero. I was like, dude, this chick actually likes me. This is cool, man. Like she's really bright. My wife's, she's college educated, and she's like, she comes from a different world than I come from. And so it was like, dang, man, maybe I'm not such a piece of shit kind of thing. Like I come from like, I self-degradate a lot. Like I have a lot of confidence issues. It may not seem like it, but I got a lot of like, it's probably what happened on Sunday at the Punk Rock Museum. I had like a full blown panic attack at the very end, but it was fucking weird, dude. But like, yeah, it's I love hearing stories like this because it's so interesting to just, it brings us back to being young, and punk rock is a youthful thing.
Right.
I get called old head a lot. Like it's a youthful thing.
It is. And it's hard to just meet like cool people that you vibe with, and that you are like kind of on the same level as you with respect to like, what you want to do and where you want to go, especially when you're our age. Like people don't really like meet each other when they're
Right.
38 or 42, right? Like
we need like a dating app for musicians. Like,
right.
no, scroll right, scroll left.
They're out there though.
Oh, really?
I mean,
No, people.
sorry,
The
not
people.
date
No.
people. Yeah,
I was
people.
like,
Not,
what?
yeah, million
That-
dollar idea.
Yo, dude, for real. It probably is. What do you feel about the electricity in the air when you're in a room with some new people, but you already know that you gel? Like you've hung out, let's say 3, 4, 5 times. You're already becoming friends. And then there's like a natural rhythm to the songwriting. Like you show them something, they like it. They show you something, you like it. They
Yeah.
play a fill, you're like, oh, that's perfect. They play a guitar, or you play a guitar lead, they're like, oh shit, that's exactly what we wanted to hear.
Right.
I don't think people that are not in bands can understand that. Now, I haven't been in a band in a long time, and I was only in one that was like really good. But I remember the feeling of being like, I think we got a really good song here, and being like, I think this is just like good. Like, I don't think my opinion matters. I think it's just good. And
Yeah,
people
dude.
in the band's like, dude, I think it is, dude. And they're like, hold on, let's try that again. And you go through it a bunch, and then you get like all of a sudden you're playing this tight song that you've got, and it just kind of happened.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
the best feeling, man. It's the
rule
best
rule
feeling.
number one in music, uh, eh, as a listener or as a songwriter for me is if it sounds good, it is good.
Facts.
And so that's kind of our MO. And it's like, you know, to your point, that like chemistry that develops after you've kind of gelled with some people and you played music with them, you start to like develop an instinct and an understanding of each other, like just from the chemistry. You're like, oh, you
Right.
know, I you know, I'm gonna do A, and because I'm gonna do A, I'm pretty sure that Tommy's gonna do B, or you know, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And like when you learn how to kind of anticipate, it's almost like finishing someone else's sentences. Like you just learn to know what they're thinking, you know?
Wives will do that to us a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like being in a band is, you know, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like being in a relationship because
Oh, it absolutely is.
yeah,
Sorry.
so yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the dynamics are much, I mean, minus the romance, obviously,
Right.
but like
Well, you know,
the social,
sometimes.
well, you know, yeah, I guess it depends on the group, you know, but nonetheless, you know, like you're just around them all the time. You anticipate each other, you appreciate each other, you fight and you bicker, you know, all that
Dude,
kind
for
of shit.
real.
It's
Yeah, you
great.
can have some real bad arguments in a band.
Yeah.
It's dude, I just had like the craziest idea for like a promo video for any band really, but we're talking about how like you got to be kind of friends with the band. Somebody should do like a like what do they call that? Like a mock-up of like the Friends TV show intro, but do it like play the song, but play the song kind of heavy, but have everything else kind of the same, like this stupid looking like fake laugh shit, like make it look like a sitcom. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty funny. I'd have to like write it out to make it make sense, but in my head, I'm seeing it. I'm like, dude, that would be pretty hilarious. Just like as a promo video to get your band's
Right,
name
for
in
sure.
people's ears and stuff.
Yeah.
So you had the 2 tracks. Are they on Spotify? I'm trying to
Yeah.
look it up right now. Okay.
Yeah. We got them on Spotify, and
Do you have a Bandcamp?
we do have a Bandcamp.
I'll make sure.
Yep. And
plug that
those
in.
songs can be downloaded for free on our Bandcamp. So
Oh, damn. Awesome.
anybody,
Well, I'll
it's
make
like
sure and get that to the people then. I want to make sure. Bandcamp's very important to people like us.
hell yeah. I mean, it's there, and you know, I think it's a name your own price, you know, so just name $0 and fucking download it for free. Like that's why we made the demo, like because, you know, we write the songs for us. Like
Sure.
it's music that we want to enjoy, but
Right.
if you guys like it and you want to, you know, put it on your iPod or whatever whatever you want to do with it, just, you know, download it.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm gonna definitely put it on some like cassette tapes. I make mixtapes for my shop that I listen to.
Hell yeah.
I'm an old head, bro. I like to walk inside. I love the noise. Click, click, click. I love that shit, dude.
For sure.
If you can't tell, I can't sit still. I have a really bad ADHD and I have fidget problems. So I constantly move around. People that first started watching the channel thought I was being rude looking at my phone. I'm like, no, you don't understand. That's how I pay attention. If I sit still, I guarantee you I'm thinking about something else, bro. I'm fucking off in a different world. But
Right.
if I fidget, I can listen to what you're saying.
For sure.
So is it only the 2 songs? You have Fits and Starts, and then you have Whispers of the Wretched.
Right.
I don't know which one I like better, to be honest. I think I kind of like them both equally. As of right now, I've only heard them twice a piece. I need to listen to some more and like kind of spend some time with them and to see if there's one that kind of pops out. But there's 2 songs isn't a lot. So
Yeah.
what are it's not even 8 minutes. That's good, man. You don't want to have 10 minutes and 2 songs. That's so much time.
I know. I mean, our to your point, I'm sorry for cutting you
No,
off.
no, I do it to you all the time.
But on the point of like the length, I mean, I would definitely, agree that our songs are pretty long for punk songs. And so much so that like lately we've been writing stuff that we're intentionally going the opposite direction and just
Okay.
trying to make shit that's really short and really fucking fast. Like
I'm not mad at that.
I'm really digging like AFI's earliest stuff and
Woo!
that kind of thing.
Hell yeah,
Just like a minute and a half banger.
bro. Speaking
I
my
love
language.
that kind of shit. So like we're we're writing some stuff. In fact, I just finished a song today that's just like that.
Fuck yeah.
But we have another single coming out. The music video is going to come. We're doing it has a music video as well, and that's all
awesome.
That's all going to come out on Halloween. And then
soon too.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah.
I'm putting a reminder on my phone right now.
Yeah, so the music video will be there on Halloween, and then it'll be on Spotify and all that on.
Dude, that's
on
awesome,
November
bro. I'll be streaming on Halloween for like guaranteed. Just every holiday I stream because it's people are home.
1st. Yeah.
So I can assure you that they will get some airplay on Halloween and the following Sunday because I do Sundays and Wednesdays every week. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming up with a schedule, man. We're getting things figured out. But so okay, so right now you currently only have the 2 songs recorded and available, right?
Yeah. But we have like we have a full sets and then some worth of material, and
okay,
the goal is to I mean, we want to record an LP in 2025.
Hell yeah.
I'm not sure if we're on track to. It's just sometimes like a lot of these fucking songs, like I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I'll like keep hammering it and hammering it and hammering it, and
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe it's beating a dead horse or something, but like I like just want it to sound the way I hear it in my head, and so I just keep coming back and coming out.
Well,
And
you said it the right way, because had you said I wanted it to sound perfect, I would have stopped you and said it's never going to sound perfect. But if you want it to sound the way it sounds in your head, I mean, if you have a goal, I mean, strive to reach it.
Yeah, I mean, I figure like I'm doing myself and the band a disservice if I don't try to like make everything we do as good as it can be. But sometimes that makes the songwriting process like slower than it probably like.
Right.
The fast banger that I wrote earlier today, I wrote it in 2 days. It's like the fastest fucking song I've ever written in my life. Maybe it might actually be the fastest. It's a pretty fucking fast song. But I mean, it might be the fastest turnover. Like, I think 2 days. I wrote the guitar parts yesterday, and I wrote all the lyrics today, and it's done.
I mean, that's pretty quick. That's pretty. Without a whole band, I mean, I've written a song in an hour and a half in a studio with 4 other people, but by myself, that takes some work.
Yeah, like sometimes you just get you get one that just like has wheels and like
right,
and it just like you just want to keep going because it feels good to keep playing it. So
my strong suit was never like, I was always like, how Rick Rubin isn't good at, who Rick Rubin is, right?
I don't.
Okay, he's a producer, and he's famous for not knowing how to work a board like at all. He's more of he's like a guru. He lays on the couch and listens to your shit over and over and over. And then he's like, hey, I think you might want to put something like this here. I think this should change a little bit. That's the kind of person that I am. If I was going to like, I've quote unquote produced exactly 2 things, right? And both of them, it was like that. I would just sit down and listen to it with the band and be like, oh, I think you should do this here. I think a little fill needs to be here. I think a little guitar solo needs to be here. Hey, I think you should pull back the yells, whatever, right? What I was best at doing was being like, hey man, I got this rhythm melody in my head. It goes like this, and I would sing it a little bit, and I'd get a guitar and play like real basic, like what I thought it might sound like. And I'm like, what do you think about that? What kind of vocal pattern do you think should be on that? And they would go, I don't know, man. They'd play it a few times, and then we'd like conglomerate, come up with a vocal pattern. Da, 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 da. And I was like, all right, cool. That's all I needed to know. And I'll just like record it on my phone. And then I'll sit down and go outside and smoke a cigarette back when I smoked or whatever. And that's how I did my thing. I never was good at being like, let me show you what I wrote. I was just terrible at that. I did it a couple of times, but it was just like, I envy people that can do what you do. I wish I could, man. But
I appreciate that. It's a learned trait. I mean, I've always had like an affinity for writing, but you like back in, long time ago when I was in that street punk band, like I was just kind of the riff guy. Like,
Let's go.
like I would just,
let's go.
I would just bring like a shitload of riffs and be like, all right, cool. Here's like 5 riffs. Like, let's turn one of these into something. And that's how it would go.
Not mad at that at all. That sounds
But
like a great time.
yeah, it was cool. I mean, it worked for that particular group because the other guys like were better at the stuff that I wasn't good at. But like eventually I kind of taught myself to stack things, and like you have like harmony and melody and, you know, lyrical, you know, cadence and all that kind of stuff. And like it just, I don't know, I developed it. It wasn't
That's
like
awesome.
I wasn't born with it.
Man, I mean, that's even more impressive in my opinion, because the people that are born gifted, like I appreciate that, and I almost envy it a little bit, but like learning something is only because you have the desire to have that knowledge. Like, so if,
Yeah.
like when I learned how to edit a video, it's only because I was like, all right, I want to know how to make my shit look cool, or at least the way I think is cool. Like,
Yeah.
I want to project, like, this is my vision of what looks pretty rad. Like, if you go watch, I just dropped 2 videos today. One's not even live yet. It'll be live in like 20 minutes or so, right? But I did one with Jesse Michaels, and where he talks about Operation Ivy's like songs, like some of the history of their songs, and he talks about his new project called Doom Regulator with Tim Armstrong. And so I was like, okay, I could just cut that up and put that on the internet and people would watch it. But I was like, or I could take like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I could just make it look dope. And I was like, I think I'd rather make it look cool. And so I sat there for an extra couple of hours, and it's a way cooler video. Like, it may not get any more views, but if I go back and look at it, I'm gonna feel like I was like, all right, I wasn't lazy. I did it. It looks cool.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, because like that's kind of ties into the point I was making earlier about like the music that we write. It's for us, you know.
Right.
If
exactly.
Yeah. If someone else can appreciate it, then awesome. But like we're, you know, like of course we hope that people do like the stuff that we do, but you know, at the end of the day, like it's a diary for me. You know, when I write lyrics down.
Oh, this is like my therapy for sure.
Yeah,
like
it's
absolutely.
Therapy. Exactly. You know,
sorry.
No, I was just saying, you know, just get all that stuff like out of your head and into the world.
100%, dude. You have to decompress, man.
Yeah.
I always tell people at work, like when I used to work, I'd be like, hey, look, man, I'm getting upset, dude. Just like let me vent for a minute because I'm just hitting my decompress button, and I was like, I'll be fine in 10 seconds. Let me just because I said that's how I operate. I have to go way up and way back down, but it's very quick. And you know, some people can't handle that, some people can, but some of the best advice I ever got was from one of my best friends named Josh. Shout out Josh if you're watching this, bro. What's up? In terms of editing, this is leading to a question. He told me the best way to edit a video is to make it look like you didn't edit the video. And I was like, oh shit. He's like, if people don't know that you did something, or even if they can kind of tell that it's there, but they don't really know how it got there, he's like, that's good editing. So when I tell you that, my question would be, have you ever gotten some advice that when you went to go write a song, the advice just kept ringing true and it just made it either easier or made it better? Is there anything that you can think of?
So like if there's any advice when it came to songwriting specifically,
just something that somebody basically what I'm trying to do is I'm saying this stuff out loud so that some kid that's watching this that's either going to do one of the things that one of us do will hear it and be like, oh, that might help me. So I'm just curious, has there ever been any advice that maybe it wasn't like mind-blowing, but it stuck with you, you utilize it all the time, and it's something that you think about when you're writing music? Because I think about that all the time when I'm editing. Just make it look like I didn't do anything crazy, and it makes things look natural, organic.
Sure. Well, I guess like when it comes to songwriting, specifically, you know, if I had any advice for someone who wants to write better songs, the first thing would be like to not just write shit that you think other people is gonna like, you know.
Dude,
write what you like, you know, and start there, because this is art and it's supposed to be a part of you. It's supposed to be from you. It's supposed to be personal and be real. Like if you're just doing what you think everybody wants you to do, that's, to me, that's almost the antithesis of art. That's kind of like a bastardization of it.
That's a job.
Yeah.
That's not even like, and that's exactly, man, it's so weird you said it like that, because that's exactly how I landed here doing this channel. I have another channel. It's got 28,000 subscribers, dude. Like, it's a pretty big channel. I don't fucking like doing the videos because all I was doing is what other people wanted and what I thought might get popular.
Right.
Did it do well statistically? Yes, it did. I did very well. I don't give a shit, man. I'd rather make $5 and be happy than make 500 and be bummed out. Like I just
Yeah,
don't. My time is more valuable than that. So,
exactly. It's supposed to
um,
feel good. It's
yeah,
supposed
yeah, right. But yeah, play the music you want to play. Make the art that you enjoy, and then if other people enjoy it, that's a bonus. If nobody else gives a shit, you're still happy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least you lived your life with integrity and you did it your way, you know? Like
100%.
not everyone's gonna like everything that you do. And growing up a punk rocker, like a lot of people just aren't gonna fucking like you. Like
Dude, yeah.
learn how to be comfortable with that. Like, you know,
Oh, bro, that
own
made
it.
me feel so good hearing that because it's so accurate.
Yeah, they're gonna judge you, they're gonna pigeonhole you, you know, whether it be you personally or your art or your music or whatever the case may be.
That
So
literally just happened to me. Like, at this age, bro, I am not a young kid anymore. And I had a job that I had for 2.5 years. They just didn't fucking like me. And I think it's all because of like my punk rock roots, because I stand up for myself. I don't let people walk on me. I hold people to their promises, but I also work hard. I got a good work ethic. And so they're like, not only do I not like this dude because he makes me do what I said I was going to do, but he's also making me look bad because he's a better worker than I am. And so it just ended up imploding. It's for the better, but it's so funny you said that because as soon as you said that, I thought of 3 people immediately in my head. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
they just don't fucking like me. And I'm
yeah.
like, it is what it is, bro. Like,
Exactly. It is what it is. And one other thing that I think, and this doesn't seem significant, but I think it's really profound. Again, it sounds so stupid and so trivial, but it's not. Just like have lower expectations, lower your
bro,
expectations. You know,
yes, I love talking to you. Yes, dude.
like
Fucking A.
because if it's better to just like, you know, do life the way you want to do it without hoping for too much. And if something awesome happens, then great. But statistically speaking, something awesome probably won't happen. So that's just life, man.
Dude, that goes parallel with what I was telling somebody yesterday. I said set obtainable goals.
Yeah.
Don't be like, man, like right now, my goal that I'm like super excited about is 10,000 subscribers. Anybody could look at my channel and go, okay, I see the trajectory. He's probably going to hit quite a bit more than that. I think I probably will. I don't care. All I want to do is hit the 10.
Yeah. Right.
Once I hit that, I'm back at 0 and I'll go wherever I want to go from there. But if I go, I want 500,000. Dude, I don't know
Right.
that I don't know that 500,000 is realistic. I don't know
Yeah.
that at all. I may very well not be anywhere close to realistic, right? So why the fuck would I want to set myself up for disappointment?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. That's, I mean, it's like, you know, it's just basic, you know, philosophy.
it's like the kids that wants to play professional baseball, wants to be a pitcher, right? But he doesn't also learn a trade. And you're like, dude, do you understand that the odds of you being in a major league, that's like, I use baseball because that's the sport I really enjoy outside of mixed martial arts. But
Dude,
like,
I played baseball for
I,
like 11 years.
I love baseball. And like, and there's no salary cap. So baseball is really the statistic, like that's the best one to go to.
Mhm.
But like, so, okay, you're a great baseball player, but there's like, in your high school, there's probably at least a handful of great players. So what does that say about your school district and then your city and then your state? And
Right.
then, so likely you're not going to make it to the major leagues, and you very well might. But if you go, man, I would love to do carpentry, but if I can play baseball, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're likelier to be happier because you're going to you might even get further in on your baseball career because you're not so focused on getting further in your baseball career.
Right.
Like, you
And you
might
got
just
to pay
have
your
more
fucking
fun.
bills.
Yeah. Right. You got to pay the bills. So, like,
Yeah.
learn a trade and then practice your craft. And then once your art pays the bills, you're happy. But if it doesn't, it's still something you enjoy doing. Don't make everybody makes everything stressful. I don't know. It's tough, man. It's a very deep, long conversation we don't need to have right now. But it's anybody that wants to talk to me, I say this all the time. Hit me up. My Instagram, my email is in the description. I'm all ears, dude. I clearly talk a lot, so I'm down for a conversation. So with your demo, I want to get it back on your music.
Yeah.
Is that stuff available on a physical medium or no?
No, we thought about it, but at the time that we released it, there was like a year or a year and a half long backlog for 7 inches to get them pressed. And
Do a tape,
I
man. Cheap.
that's true. I mean, we honestly never even really considered that. I think we just like wanted to the.
I mean, vinyl's the like that's the. I mean, I'm even going that direction with my label, and it's way more expensive. But like, whatever.
Yeah.
Are y'all playing a lot of shows?
Yeah. I mean, we try to keep like a Massachusetts is a small state, so we try to keep like a maybe a 6-week cadence between shows. Otherwise, you kind of tend to oversaturate.
Right. You don't want, at least local shows, anyways. You don't want to go too hard in the paint and make people tired of your music.
Exactly. So we're trying to be careful about that. But we've played. I think we played like. I mean, we're a pretty new band. I mean, we just put out this demo like maybe 5 months ago, something like that.
I didn't even ask how long y'all been a project. How long y'all been together as a band?
I mean, we started. Maybe, I mean, Tommy and I think met last August.
So wow, so like about a year, a little bit over a year, maybe.
Yeah, just a year.
Damn.
And the demo came out in April. So yeah, that's like 5
months.
Woo,
boy, y'all sound real good for only being together a year.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Man, I'm very impressed with your music, bro. And it's no bullshit either. I trust me. If I didn't like it, I'll tell you. I have no problem being honest with people.
I appreciate that more than you know, man.
Well, that's badass, man. A year, dude. Congratulations. I can't wait to hear some new stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, we're and we're trying to make it better every time. Like, we don't want to just like do a release and then like, okay, cool, we're done. Like, I want to keep, whatever that next level of music, of writing looks like, I want us to achieve that. And eventually it gets to a point where it's like law of diminishing returns and you really can't like get,
right.
But we still have yet to go before we get to that point. But getting back to your question about shows, we have a show on Halloween, the day that the music video comes out, which is why we decided to put that out.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a good move.
And then we're doing like our first little regional tour. We're doing like
let's go.
Yeah, we're doing like a weekender in November. I think we're going to New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania.
Dude, that's badass, man. I'm excited for you. I've only left Texas 3 times, and twice was to Vegas. So technically, I've only been 2 places. I flew up to Pittsburgh for a show. Like, I'm really trying to make this channel like something special. So I was willing to put the money up to do something like that. And I mean, in all fairness, it was a band I really wanted to see badly, and they were from France. So I flew up there to go see them. But like, yeah, man, I would love to go and just, man, fuck, dude, being in a band was so much fun, but I can't handle that shit anymore. Like, it's just I'm not built for it. But that's amazing, man. I'm excited to hear the new track on Halloween. That's good timing too, though, man. Give you a few months, promote the songs you've got. Because what I don't understand is all these like young rapper kids that drop a song every couple of days. I just don't get it. It's too much material. Nothing's gonna have any staying power. Yeah. Nobody's gonna really care.
Right.
Like, you have to drop. I don't know, man. Put some fucking time and thought into your song.
Exactly. And that was what you just said is exactly what that's been our approach. We're like, hey, let's just put out a couple songs that are really fucking good that hopefully, people will notice it and we'll be able to start doing stuff from there. But in the meantime, we'll just, we'll keep writing. And, the goal has been to work on this LP, but we actually when we recorded that demo, we recorded 4 songs. So we have 2 songs that nobody's heard yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
The 4th one, I'm not sure what we're going to do with that yet. We may just save it for like a split or something someday.
Yeah.
But the other one that's coming out, it's called The Balance. That's coming out the end of this month. That song's, it's a fucking cool song, man. I think you're gonna like it. It's different than the other 2.
Oh, I mean, look, it doesn't have to be the same for me to like it. I based on the first 2 that I heard, just your musical talents as a group, as a collective, I think that just about anything you write outside of like a really, really slow ballady type song, I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But like outside of that, I'll probably like just about anything you guys write. That's amazing, man. I'm excited for that, dude. That's awesome. A lot of people don't know how to like let things simmer a little bit. It's tough. It's hard to like.
Yeah.
When like right now I think this is going to be like my 4th podcast in like 36 hours. So I have some stuff banked, and like I'm not good at saving that. I'm trying to get in the habit of like, even if I want to post it, but don't let it actually go live until next week. Like, let it sit and like you can get the post of it out of your head and get that part done, get the thumbnail made. Because I also don't like to get too far behind because then I won't catch up. And
Right, for
so,
sure. And then you always kind of feel like you're behind the curve.
right. And then I have stuff I didn't get to use. I'm like, well, what was the point in doing it if I didn't get to use it? I had a podcast once that I filmed it and I didn't drop it for like 3.5 months because I straight up forgot because I was doing so much stuff and I was trying to space things out. And had I just filmed it, edited it, dropped it, it might have been in a weird like rhythm, but it would have come out. And I felt so bad because when the band realized, or when I realized it, I think the band had already realized it and thought I didn't like the podcast, and I felt so bad. But yeah, it's a it's a weird world we live in, man, doing this stuff because it is technically a hobby, but we're all trying to reach this, these goals, and I think ultimately everybody wants to make a living doing what they love. I mean, that's the dream, ain't it?
Yeah, for sure. Hobby, a passion, and if it takes you somewhere, then
right. I still have a couple of questions if you got some more time.
Of course, man, I'm here as long as you need me.
Hell yeah, dude. So okay, when you're writing your music, like what are some of your how do I say this? It's a pretty generic question, but I like hearing this stuff from people. What are your bigger influences? And give me some of your favorite bands that you just listen to. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we sound like this. That's crazy. You never sound like the shit you listen to in my experiences.
That's a fact.
So like what are your influences just on songwriting and maybe guitar playing? Like who do you like to listen to? Who just gets you jazzed and what makes you want to write some music?
Good question. Guitar playing is harder because I don't necessarily, I mean, I try to be like a pretty dynamic guitarist in that, like, I want to be able to do, again, I think for me, like when it comes to playing guitar, I just want to be able to do what I hear in my head. And that's, for me, that's good enough. But like,
if you can translate what's in your head to a speaker, I think that's a pretty difficult task. So if you can do that, you're nailing it.
Yeah, it is. But I guess like, so when it comes to guitar, it really kind of is all over the place. But like, some of my guitar, God icons to me is like Angus Young, a lot of dad rock stuff. Brian May.
It's all good, bro. Angus Young's the shit.
Yeah. I mean, I like dad rock guitarists, like that kind of mid 70s, Thin Lizzy.
Yeah. All that
kind of shit.
Like stuff that's like rock and roll, like rock and roll.
Like, but
shit
like
make you want to move your feet.
Yeah, that like, kind of, when it comes to like, lead guitar, that's kind of like where I get a lot of ideas from. But that's like
awesome.
When it comes to like punk bands, I mean, when I was growing up, I was like super into street punk and oi, like GBH, Discharge, the Partisans, the Threats, External. There's this band from Canada called Action that's fucking great. They only put out like one album, but they were so fucking good. And they did like they toured with Defiance.
Damn.
And the Riffs. And they were so fucking good. But like the Unseen, Oxymoron, Antidote, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's the classic stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like that's what I was really into when I was younger, and that still like carries and holds a special place. Cocksparer.
Oh yeah.
Love,
now you're speaking. That's like my favorite type of music. Pretty much.
I mean, I love that old like working class oi stuff.
It feels good to hear it, doesn't it? It's just like makes you want to go out and swing a hammer sometimes, or have a beer.
I saw them. They played Punk Rock Bowling. Was it like 2011 or I think it was 20? Maybe in 2013. But like, Cocksparer is so special to me. I only saw them play that one time. I fucking cried like the whole set.
That's awesome. Because that's amazing.
Like, Shock Troops, like, is like I would listen to Shock Troops on repeat for like days on end.
I've done that recently.
Yeah, I mean that album is fucking timeless. There are absolute like masterpiece punk songs on that album.
Dude, well, like I'm literally like prepping a video. A spoiler for anybody that's still watching me. Like I'm prepping a video, like 5 albums that are perfect, and that's on the list. It was the first one I thought of. I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, Shock Troops goes in there. And
Yeah.
then I've got a couple that people are gonna go, yeah, no shit. I'm not surprised that's on there. But like,
Mm.
I'm gonna do like volumes of that video series, but I want to get the first one out. The first one's like that's the one that's my shit.
Oh, dude.
And dude,
yeah.
I mean, getting emotional at shows, I think is a wonderful thing. When I saw Rancid with my wife for the first time, because she's kind of a normie, right? She's gotten
Mhm.
into it. I would say she's at this point, she's like the crust of the scene where she's like on the outside of it, but she's a part of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Normie.
she definitely
No, I mean,
supports me.
just the term normie is like
Yeah,
my wife and I use that term, so it's funny you use that.
bro. I mean, it fits her very well, and like, but she supports me in everything I do. So like, this channel and my label wouldn't exist without her. So as far as I'm concerned, she's a very vital part to Houston punk rock. But
Hell
like,
yeah.
we went and saw Rancid for the first time. She was like, I want to go see this band, and I was like, all right. And we went to Austin and we saw Starving Wolves, The Interrupters,
Nice.
and Rancid. And yeah, shout out to Davey Crumbum, dude. Like that guy's awesome.
Yeah. Starving Wolves are cool, man.
They're so good, man. They're so good. And I remember like she was standing next to me, and she knew my favorite songs. They were Old Friend and Journey to the End of East Bay. But the only one she could remember was Old Friend because that's like a ska song.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember very vividly her like it came on, and I remember her looking up. She's shorter than I am. She looked up at me, and like she kind of put her arm around me a little bit, and I just started crying, bro. I was like, oh shit, because it's such a special moment.
Yeah.
And then like what is it, October? So like almost exactly a month ago, I took my wife and my 3 kids to see Rancid and Green Day for their first Rancid show.
Nice.
And it's like, bro, like that was something that I'll never forget. That like it was, and then people can say it's corny, whatever. I mean, it kind of is, honestly, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Nah, man.
But yeah, dude, see that music bringing that kind of emotion out of you is pretty special.
Those moments, like there are only like a few. I don't mean to get corny myself.
No,
like,
bro, let's do it.
But like, but like those few moments in life where you're just like really touched by something, they're really rare. But man, those are like the moments that make life like really worth it. Like there's only a few, like, you know, money and fame and all this shit that other people like, that stuff isn't worth anything. It's like
No,
those
it's not.
really few moments that like make you like super fulfilled and happy, like what you're describing, you know,
Right.
with your kids and stuff. That's really special, and that's what makes life worth it.
Dude, I have a video of me sitting in a lawn chair. I guess at the time 3-year-old sitting on my shoulders, and I think the Lindas were playing, and he's going, and he's like jamming out, sitting on my shoulders. That is the shit that I live for. Like that little boy is already like a little punker in the making, dude. Like he already likes reggae music. He loves punk music.
Nice.
My other kids, they might like a little bit of it, but this dude, he's a little punk rocker, man. It's in his blood. I can see it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty rad, man. So what is your all-time favorite band? Do you have one?
Oh, all-time favorite band.
I mean, it's obvious that mine's Rancid. I talk about them way too much.
I guess like if I could only pick one,
there could be only
I guess it depends on the era, you know.
Ooh.
10 years ago, I would have said The Unseen for sure.
I love that band. They're so good.
5 years ago, I would probably say like maybe Johnny Thunders.
Oh shit! Okay, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, I got like super into like 77 rock and roll type stuff for a while there.
I hate that kind of music.
And I guess now I would probably say, you know, like supporting cast era propaganda.
Okay. I didn't used to understand those kind of answers, but as I talk to more people, I realize that I might be the odd one because my favorite band's been the same band since 1995. It's never changed.
Yeah.
It's never gonna change. They could put out fucking 6 stinker ass albums in a row, and I would still be like, yeah, but the fucking 10 before that were bangers.
Right. Sorry for cutting.
No, that's all, dude. It's a conversation.
I just went through all these different phases, you know.
Yeah.
I was like in the street punk phase, and then I got into like a power pop phase.
I love power pop.
Yeah, you know, I was like super into power pop, like Incredible Kidda Band and The Jam and the Lambrettas and stuff like that.
Do you feel like are you a Green Day fan at all?
I mean,
okay. Have you heard Father of All Motherfuckers?
No.
Okay, this is an incredibly unpopular opinion, but that is my favorite Green Day record, and it's like far and away their most hated. You should go check that out just one day when you have 30 minutes because it's real short. It's just go listen to it. it's gonna fuck you up because you're gonna have to stop and look at it to make sure it's Green Day because it doesn't sound like them at all. You said power pop, and the first thing I thought of was like, dude, I need to listen to that again. It's really short and very catchy.
Exploding Hearts. Whoo.
Oh, they're so good.
So
I need to listen to that today too. Hold on, I'm like taking notes of shit to listen to after we get out of here.
Yeah,
because I have such a terrible memory, dude.
Guitar Romantic and Shattered are fucking great. Both of those albums. I mean, Shattered came out after the whole band got into a car accident, died. It's really sad.
That is fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I don't know that I even knew that happened. I'm not like a giant fan of theirs. I know that I like the band. I think I have at least one of their CDs.
Yeah, I think it was like the only tour that they ever came like.
That's crazy.
In California. That was like 2002, I think.
Dude, I need to do a video about that, like, because I need to learn about that. That's bananas, dude.
Yeah, I think three-quarters of the band died. The guitarist survived, and he still does stuff. Yeah.
So this is one thing about me that people don't understand, and I don't have an answer for them either. But like, I have no qualms with the fact that I don't know everything. I'm not some authority in the punk rock scene. I'm not cool. That's
humility, man. That's
like.
important.
Well, it just doesn't make any sense to not act like that because, boy, I tell you, you're going to eat your words if you go, oh, I fucking know everything. Yeah. Somebody's going to know more than you, and they're going to say something without even meaning anything, and you're going to look stupid. Yep. So I'd rather just, like, I had on this dude, what was his name, man? Super cool guy in hindsight, but when we first started talking, he was a fucking asshole, and we got into a real big argument. He called me a bunch of names on the internet, and he's, like, 15 years older than me, and he's got, like, Grammys and shit. And then when we talked, he just didn't understand me. And when we talked, he was like, oh, bro, you're all right, man. I was like, no, I just don't act like I know some shit I don't know, and I don't like bands I don't like. Like, I don't like the Clash. It is what it is, bro. Like, what are you getting mad? I don't like the Clash. I don't, dude. For full disclosure, I do not like Propaganda. I don't give a shit, bro. What?
Hey,
you know how many people don't like Rancid? Like, it is what it is, bro. I don't. What do I care? Like,
here's an interesting one, if I may, because I think this is like
I don't like punk rock. I'm like, that's fucking weird.
Here's a controversial one. What do you think of the Addicts?
Mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Like, I don't know, man. I love it. I don't know why.
Are they bad? No. Are they like? Oh shit! I really thought you were gonna say you didn't like them.
Yeah, I mean, because some people hate them.
I'm like fucking terrible. You're like, they're fucking great.
No, some people hate them. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so well, I'm also open to like changing and growing. Okay, so like as an example. I didn't even like I used to actively dislike the Clash. Well, now I like some of their music a little bit. Let's see, what's a band that I used to really dislike that I like now a lot? I don't know if I like them a lot, but I used to really dislike the Descendants. I used to really not like them at all, and I really enjoy them now, right?
Yeah.
So like that being said, what is an Addicts? Let's say, give me an album that you really enjoy that I should go listen to.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Songs of Praise. I mean, that album just has so many fucking hits on it. It has like Viva la Revolution on it, which I mean, everybody knows that song.
So here's the thing is that me not liking the Addicts, quote unquote, doesn't mean I actively dislike them first and foremost. It just means I'm not an active fan. But every band, including Propaganda, has songs that I like. So like, whatever the band is, even the Clash has songs that I like a lot. There's very few bands that I can go out there and go, their whole discography is trash. That's crazy, bro.
Right.
Like, any band that gets signed to any label worth of shit has got at least one song that I like. Dude, I like at least one Taylor Swift song. Like, come on, bro. Her whole album, 1989, is a fucking banger, and I hate that woman.
So like, you're a Swiftie?
Fuck no, man. No, not even a little bit. But she does make some decent music to some degree. You're like, I like more like weird chick pop music. I like Lorde. I like Kesha. I like her. I like Lady Gaga a lot. That chick's weird as fuck, bro. I like her a lot. She is weird as
fuck, but I dig it.
Yeah, and I like Adele, and I want to hear something that's like kind of calm, but like powerful and beautiful and moving. Or if my wife's in the room and I want to listen to some music loud, I know she won't be like, turn that shit off. It's
right.
I really like her voice. She sings really well. But I mean, I like a little bit of everything. I like Elvis. I don't like the Beatles. I like Johnny Cash. Like Johnny B. Good. Chuck Berry is like one of my favorite guitar players of all time. Yeah. My favorite guitar player is Brian Setzer. So.
So you like that old rock and roll and stuff?
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis. I grew up on that shit, bro. My dad shoved that shit down my ears, bro.
Yeah.
I remember I had this little fucking, I don't know what it was. I've looked for it my whole life, and I can't. My dad died when I was a kid, so I can't even ask him. But like, it was a tape player, but it wasn't like an actual like Walkman. These tapes were like They were like weird shaped. They weren't the little mini cassettes. They were shaped different than that, but they played like 2 songs per side. And my dad got me this thing one year, and he bought me Chuck Berry, he got me a couple of old Western dudes, and then he got me Jerry Lee Lewis, Fats Domino, Little Richard, like all these like
Hell
real
yeah.
rock and roll. Like
Love
you
it.
can tell why I like what I like based on what
Yeah.
I listened to as a kid, because I love Rancid, but go listen to what Lars plays. It sounds like all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. Exploding Hearts, man. Listen to guitar work from Exploding Hearts. That shit's all fucking Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis.
So good, bro.
Well,
Dude.
Jerry Lee Lewis
Yeah.
piano, but you know.
Yeah, for sure. But the same kind of riffing.
Right.
But yeah, they had this little weird tape player thing. And I used to listen to it. It sounded terrible, but it was fun. I was a kid and it was indestructible. I could listen to it and drop it. I used to ride my bike listening to it and stuff. But
That was
yeah,
an
dude.
8-track.
No, because it was little, man. The whole thing was like the size of a fat ass Walkman. It wasn't like it was but it was weird. I think the tapes plugged in the top. They didn't like go into a thing that opened. It was made for young people and it was made to last. I wish I could remember what that thing was, dude. If I ever saw one, I would buy it immediately, no matter what it cost, just so I could show people what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah. I'm not sure what that is.
You ever heard of a mini discs?
No, isn't that like what they used to have movies on, but they were like
No, those were laser discs. Mini discs are like, they look like a floppy disk, but they're like, I don't know, 3x3 inch. They're real small. And
no, I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, dude, those things were badass back in the 90s. I loved them. It was like a cassette tape that wouldn't get fucked up because it was basically a CD inside of a plastic shell. And you could make your own mixtapes on it and stuff. Came in cool colors. It was like, as a 16-year-old punk rocker, they were super cool because they were very manipulative. I could like or you know, whatever. I could fuck with them and make my own mixtapes and stuff.
Yeah, right.
I love tapes. Tapes are my favorite thing. I have a whole box of tapes down here. Like they're just 30 minutes on each side, blank black cassette tapes. I do all kinds of shit with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, on the, I mean, is it on the point? I'm just curious about your distaste for Propaganda. Is it their earlier stuff? I don't like their early stuff, like their first couple records.
My answer is going to irritate the shit out of you. I haven't listened to them in like 20 years. I heard them like twice and was like, not for me.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not for everybody. I will admit that.
I should go back and listen to it because they do have that one song where he's like, "I like to party fucking hard." That song.
Oh yeah,
that song was super rad. I love that track.
Yeah, check out Supporting Cast.
Okay, so that album is the one that got me to not the one with that song on it that I just mentioned is the one that I listened to. I had bought it because my friends liked it, so I was like, "Oh, cool!" So I bought it, and that's the one that gave me my opinion on them. And I was like, "Oh, it was just the one song that stuck out." But like, I haven't even really listened to that album in 20 years. I should probably go back and listen to that. I might like it just fine. I don't actually know. I'm okay with changing my mind because I used to hate mustard and I fucking love mustard on my hamburger now.
Good for you.
Anything can change, man. Like people have this weird idea that once you say something, it's set in stone. It can never change. That's fucking silly, especially in art, music, punk, whatever. Like, you know,
put mustard on your hamburger.
You know, fucking mustard on hamburgers is awesome. It's so good. And like, you know, damn it, now I want a hamburger. But like, you know, it's interesting, dude. I love this little world that we've got here, man. It's so fucking cool, man. Like,
hell yeah, man. I mean, I have to say, like, I'm stoked that, you know, that I met you. You invited me on your show.
Shit, yeah.
That you guys like the music. I'm
so good, dude. It's so good. I'm gonna listen to it again when I get off here with you. Seriously, I'm gonna jam. It's good, man. It's 3:30 almost. My kid won't be home for another few minutes. I can turn it up real fucking loud. Hell yeah, dude.
If you promise not to share it with anybody, I could probably give you a little exclusive.
I won't share anything. I get a lot of the exclusives. I would never do that to somebody. I would love to hear that because that's the one coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear it so I can kind of have like some ideas in my head what I'm going to say about it when I can listen to it. That'd be cool.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So okay. Last 2 questions. These are I ask almost everybody this if I can not forget to do it. Okay, first question. What are your goals in the next 12 to 18 months with the band? Very generic stuff here.
Yeah, 12 to 18 months. Mentioned earlier, we want to put out an LP. You know, I mean, given the average length of our songs, it'll probably be like, I don't know, maybe 12 songs or something like that. Because like I said, we're going to mix some short songs in there.
That's the number I was thinking in my head too. 12 is a great number.
Yeah. So that's probably what it'll be, something like that. So we're writing aggressively to achieve that end. And I want to go back to California. So, you know, we're putting out feelers to go back and to go do a West Coast tour.
Nice.
And I'm trying to reach out to some, some people that I know out there and see if I can make something happen. But
I'm sure you'll make it happen, dude. Just send them your music. Just go here, listen to this.
It's the difficulty is just getting anybody to listen to it, because we're small and we don't really have like, we're not established. So it's hard to get people to listen to it.
Dude, so full disclosure, that's very true, because I'm a nobody and I was still like, oh man, do I want to listen to a new band right now? Like I just did it because in my head I felt like an asshole. I was like, that's not cool, man. Like, what the fuck does this dude have any business? Not you, but like let's say any like prominent punk musician. Well, how am I going to feel if they don't want to respond to my email about doing an interview? I'm going to feel like an asshole, and I'm going to feel really shitty about it, right? Because it just doesn't make any sense. We are all in a community. We should all take care of each other, right?
Yeah.
I literally thought that, and I was like, dude, I should need to listen to this. This is probably pretty good, man. And then I listened to it, and I literally got so excited because I was like, oh my God, I almost didn't listen to that. And whatever my opinion on it is irrelevant, but I enjoyed it. And what an asshole move. So I implore anybody out there that's watching this, if you have control over a venue or you book shows or whatever, man, when people send you their stuff, just one listen. Give it one listen. If you don't like it, throw it out.
Or at least 1 minute. Like, give it
at least a minute, bro. But
yeah.
like I say, if it's not a full length, if it's just a couple of tracks, one listen, dude. It doesn't take much time. You can do it while you're doing the dishes. You don't have to pay a lot of attention. If it catches your ear, you'll know it.
Yeah.
One listen. Because all it takes is one email from me to get somebody's attention. And I would like people to do the same for bands. Like, just one bit of attention. And if it's not worth your time, it's not worth your time. But like, I got people that have swore to me they'd help me out and do my show that backed out. And it's like the worst feeling. Just, it's not hard, man. Be honest and, give people a little bit of attention.
Sure.
That being said, last question. Actually, it's a two-pronged question, because the first part would be like, do you have any homies you want to shout out, the people we need to pay attention to? Any other bands out there that you fuck with?
Any other bands that we fuck with? The Humanity is another great.
I like that name.
Band. Yeah, they're another great local band from around here that's doing some cool shit. There's a female-fronted band, melodic punk band from the Boston area called One Fall. They're pretty cool.
Nice.
We're God, the other guys would be so much better at this than me because
I hear that response a lot.
Yeah, because I don't know all the bands from around here.
Sure.
I know those ones are kind of.
Oh, that's good, dude. A couple's good, man. I just wanted to hear some other local bands. I just want to put somebody else on if I can. Maybe they'll hear it and want to come on and talk to me, or let me hear their music or something.
These guys are bigger, but No Trigger is fucking great.
I don't know if I've ever heard them, but I like that name.
Yeah, they're fucking good, man. They're from Worcester. They're just like maybe an hour away from where I'm at.
Okay, great, so now band. This is the one. Oh, before I get to this question, do you care if I upload your demo to my channel?
No, man, do it.
I figured you'd say that, but I wanted to ask before I did it. Okay, that. So this is the fun question. It's the last one. I do this as often as I can remember. If you had the opportunity tomorrow to go on any tour in the world, to any country in the world, and with any band in the world, where are you going and who are you going with?
Whoo! Shit.
I know, right? I dropped that shit in your lap, didn't I?
So my answer, I think, would be different than everybody else's.
Yeah, no. I want your answer, not the other guys. Well, maybe we'll talk one day and we can get their answer.
Yeah. So my answer, my answer would probably be Cockspur in Europe.
Ooh, that is not a bad answer, sir.
Yeah,
I mean, I was thinking New Jersey with New Kids on the Block, but
well, that's number 2, actually.
Right. Cockspur in Europe would be. I'd never even considered that as an answer. That's a fucking phenomenal answer, because those dudes are elevated in age at this point. Are they all still around? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I think they still play occasionally. I mean,
yeah, man, that would be one you'd have to do it like
now.
Do it now, yeah. I mean, I got to see the Ramones like one of their last shows. I've always wanted to go back and watch that show again because I was a kid, so I don't really remember. I remember like Blitzkrieg Bop, and I Want to Be Sedated like pretty vaguely, but I don't remember much else other than like the noise, the way they looked. But I was like 14, so I don't remember much of it. Well, I've always wanted to go back and like revisit that. So my answer would probably be like the Ramones, just because like you know, it'd be so legendary to go do a tour with a Ramones. I mean,
For
you know,
sure.
that's definitely a pipe dream because they're, you know, all long gone at this point. But
Right. But I mean, some of those last shows that they did are like on YouTube and stuff, so you could,
I
you know,
was literally just thinking, like, I never even looked it up on the channel. I should just look it up because I
yeah.
went to the Warp Tour. Check this out. I mean, not Warp Tour, excuse me. Lollapalooza. I still
Uh,
have the fucking
oh, dude, hell
yeah,
yeah.
and I have my Rancid T-shirt from that show too. I don't wear it anymore. It's like folded up, put away.
Hmm.
But I still have. It's got all the dates on the back. It's pretty cool, man. Like
Good for
that's
you, man.
my prized possessions right there, besides my children. But
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you
awesome.
know, non-familial prized possessions, dude. Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I guess, well, I want to reiterate, I appreciate what you're doing. Um,
Oh, for
I'm
sure,
s-
man.
I'm stoked that people like you are out here and keeping the scene alive and keeping it special, making sure it. I mean, punk rock has a tendency to sometimes be a little bit like self-destructive.
And
You know,
pretentious.
we have a lot of people that, you know, they want to go to shows and they want to get, you know, shit faced and start fights and start riots and, you know, get venues shut down. And you're doing the opposite of that. You're like evangelizing for punk, and I think that is so important. So thank you.
No, man,
Um,
that's very humbling to hear. Uh,
yeah. So
I think
that would be the biggest thing.
that's awesome, bro. That's like touching, man. Sometimes I've been had like I know you don't know me, but I had like a really, really, really hard like last 4 weeks, like mentally taxing, emotionally, like I've been just a mess. So like that kind of shit is the universe being like, here, man, throw this guy a bone. So I appreciate that, man,
Yeah.
because while I do think that some of the destruction, some of the violence and chaos is inherently punk rock, and punk
Yeah.
rock is inherently violent and chaotic, it is also art. It is also a place for help and self-expression and knowledge, and it is still a community of people. It's a mixed bag. It's not all one or the other. So,
Right.
you know, it does take all kinds. It does take a little bit of the chaos too. I can admit that. But yeah, man, I just want to live and what's it called? Like when you save stuff. When you what's it called?
Preservation.
Preserve. Thank you. Yeah, I want to preserve the stuff that I loved, and I want to leave something for my kids to watch and maybe show their kids one day and be like, "Hey, your grandpa was into this stuff, man." And oh, you like this? Hey, I think check this out. Look at this video your grandpa did back in like 2023. Like
Right.
he also liked that. It's just this, you know, as long as this stuff's here, then you know, it's all biodegradable at this point. Like it's all going away. But like
Yeah. Eventually.
you know, as long as I can make it stay here,
A
Rancid
little bit
sings
longer.
about living forever, you know,
Yeah.
on wax. I think that's pretty accurate. But
For sure.
it's been a pleasure speaking with you, man. This was a fun conversation. I'm really glad we did this.
Likewise, Randall. I
Hell yeah.
appreciate the invitation, and you know, we'll have new music coming out soon, so you guys check it out, and you know,
Yes.
hopefully you'll dig it.
Oh, I will be playing it on the channel, and don't hang up quite yet. I'm gonna log off here with everybody, and then I got a couple of things I gotta ask you real quick.
Cool, man.
So, all right, everybody, thank you so much. I'm gonna link all his stuff in the description. That's Kevin with Static Friction. Really, really, really good music. I don't know what else to say about it other than that. Please go listen to it. It's only a couple songs right now. I think you'll be foaming at the mouth for more. So until next time, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow these bands. Keep DIY punk rock alive. Peace.